Very good evening and welcome to the home of football. We are back at Molineux, the Golden Palace. It was looking beautiful when I was here setting up a little bit earlier. These two alongside me didn't see it. They were down in the press room enjoying all the food and everything that was on display for us. Alongside me as ever, I'm Mikey Burrows, the Hall of Famer Andy Thompson, and former Wolves women defender, and as we've learned this week, representative in the Wolves Museum, Claire Hakeman is alongside us as well. We'll talk about that in just a minute or two. We will hear from Bruno ahead of kickoff. We'll look back on a very memorable match against West Brom from a couple of seasons ago as well. But Tomo, we come into this game in pretty decent form and feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Yeah, of course we have. So kept the clean sheets as well. Performance here against Watford, very good. First half an hour against Everton, struggled to get into the game a little bit. Everton come out, as you're going to expect. But after that, we started to control the game, and especially the second half, we just totally dominated. I know they got a player sent off, but even with 11 players, Wolves dominated, looked comfortable. And Connor Cody getting yet another goal. So it was good. It was good for the two appearances, what they've done.
And Claire, it's one of those, isn't it, whereby, listen, we don't know the relative strength of the two teams that we've played on this little run, but on the counter to that is that you can only beat what's in front of you, and Wolves have done just that in the last two games.
Yeah, definitely. I think after Palace as well, it was a very disappointing game, wasn't it? There was so little on show from us, which was really unusual. So pretty tough to take when you were for a game to watch. But the games that followed, Watford, I just don't think Watford had a chance really against us. We started really strongly. We were so on top. Obviously, I think we had a little bit of luck with a couple of the goals, but that's kind of what you need as well in football. We dominated throughout, and obviously Everton last week as well. First half, I thought we struggled. We didn't look too comfortable, but then equally, we were competent in what we were doing. But second half, it was a completely different game, absolute game changer. I thought we were superb. We controlled the game. Neves was outstanding as pretty much always, but a fantastic goal from Cody, as Tomo said, and it was a great watch. And we were unlucky not to get a second.
Talk to me about Ruben Neves, because Tomo's almost sick of talking about him now in the last couple of weeks, because he has been that good. And as you rightly say, on Sunday, there were elements in the second half when he was absolutely unplayable in a way that even in his quite illustrious Wolves career so far, he hasn't really been at the heights that he seems to have been getting to now.
I think he's just he's the best all-round player that I've seen play for Wolves, I think, personally. What he does, I read Tim Spears' article on Ruben Neves the last day or so, and as I'm reading it, I'm getting goosebumps. I mean, literally thinking about the pass that he made at Burton Albion, thinking about the goals that he scored, the Derby goal, along the way. He's just outstanding. But I think what was nice for him to note in the game was that people that know a bit about football don't just look at the fact that he scores great goals and makes some immaculate passes across the pitch. What he brings to the team in terms of breaking down the opposition play. I mean, how he wins the ball back, his ball retention, and also the way he wins the ball back is unbelievable. He's just fantastic. He's an all-round player who breaks up the play of the opposition, and then he's such a threat going forward. And I think he said the things that he said about Bruno Lage as well was fantastic to hear, that he said his game has changed. He's had to play in a different way, and his attacking game has come on so much more rather than just his defensive side of his game.
Yeah, he has stepped up, certainly, and as you quite rightly point out, he is leading Wolves in the Premier League this season in terms of tackles. Tomo is actually the 8th most tackles in the Premier League this year, and yeah, he's also leading in terms of passes, and he's 13th in the Premier League for the amount of successful passes that he's had as well. Now we're adding goals, we're adding assists, which is a different element, isn't it? And it's not always been there in terms of direct assists, but you start to add that in, and the complete control of a midfield, and suddenly you come to a game like this where you're thinking he should be absolutely dominant tonight.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about this at the weekend, didn't we, about the way that he plays, the performances that he puts in. And I was surprised that he actually said that I've worked really hard on my defensive side of it, and that's what I want to work on a lot more. But we always know him for the championship season, do we, with the goals that he scored, as Claire said there about the Derby goal, which we still remember really well. So, look, it was a great finish. But that's what we know that he can add to his game. We know that he can score spectacular goals. We know he's got the ability to do what he wants with the ball. We've seen it about the chip against Watford when he's put it over in a tight space to score, even inside the 18-yard box, to score in there. It's quite difficult to get it up and down straight away and get it into the net. But it just shows you the way that he's played this year. He's been performing at a high level. But we said as well, his work rate, the way that he works back, that's definitely improved something that he's done, and it's worked hard on the training ground.
Well, I said on Wolves Weekly with Gemma Frith this week, that you can listen to on Wolves Radio, that it's not there's an element of a player whereby he makes the first touch, and it's not just the first touch, it's not the second touch, it's then the cross. So with the goal against Watford, it's the first touch to control, everyone expects him to shoot, the second touch is perfect, then he does it. It's the same at Clare on Sunday at Everton, whereby when it's laid back to him, the first touch is perfect to set himself, everyone expects him to cross, he is clever enough to take one more touch to set himself up perfectly, and that, I think, is almost the sign of the different level of player that he is.
Yeah, I think so. I think the pictures that he sees is just unreal, and he spoke a little bit through that. And I just think it's fantastic that the aspects of his game and the fact that he scored a little bit of a different goal actually there is superb, because it just tells you he's just got so much more in his locker. And even this season, we're seeing things that we never saw last season and before. So he's just growing into a fantastic player. He's still only young as well, so he's got so much to offer. And the fact that he gives so much credit to playing alongside someone like Moutinho, that although 10 years his senior, he's like an absolute hero in Portugal, and he's learning off him still. So the fact that he still says he's learning the game is just unbelievable, to think there could be more to come from him. But he's just a dream to watch, isn't he? And as a Wolves fan, I think I'm like absolutely privileged to have seen him play for our team.
But also as well, what we mentioned about at the beginning of the season, people were writing that combination off with the two players in there, Moutinho and Neves. Can they play together? Well, they've proven it again this year, how well they've dominated games, how well they've played and got results. Moutinho scoring some great goals, but also as well about Neves. You talk about the goal where he has that extra touch against Brentford as well. Stop looking at the stars, Michael.
Well, no, I'm looking because there is a DJ here tonight, and on the big screen we can see Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher obviously covering the game for Sky Sports, broadcast here in Britain if you're watching us from outside the UK, and they are absolutely loving it. It's just down below us, and there are lights going on everywhere.
Is that where you're good at half time, is it?
It is the showbiz element
Honestly,
of what Premier League football is.
This guy is awesome. This is Stuart Ojale, and he is awesome. I've been to a few of his gigs. I bet he is absolutely loving it. He's milking the pictures. Look with Cara and Neville now. So
Tomo and I will
awesome.
take your word from it. Obviously, Tomo back in the day, you couldn't get him off the dance floor. Right, well, hang on, we'll come back to it. Don't you worry, because we've got to get the highlights from Sunday's win at Everton. We'll talk more DJs next. Richarlison, Flagger stayed down, he's in behind Kilman. Richarlison, big save, Jose Sarr. Important stop at his near post, made himself big. Wolves hesitated for a moment, looked round for a flag that didn't come, and the goalkeeper came to their rescue. There's Coleman down the right hand side, in behind Saiz for a moment, looking to try and pick out Damari Gray in the penalty area. Jose Sarr closes down the narrow angle. Saiz intercepting his pass, now Dendoncker to Jimenez over the halfway line. Podence making the run to his right hand side. Jimenez has found him. It's Daniel Podence, right hand corner of the penalty area. Can he pick somebody out? He's got Johnny running on the overlap. He clips across it. It's acrobatic from Jimenez, but it's high and wide. Marçal runs over the ball. Moutinho whips it in. It comes off with Richarlison. Dendoncker chases out to the Wolves' right. Back to Neves, takes one touch, then a second, then whips in a delightful cross. Oh, what a header! It's Connor Cody! Connor Cody heads home! The boyhood Liverpool fan scores at Goodison! Everton 0, Wolves 1. Delightful cross from Ruben Neves, and dispatched into the far corner perfectly by Connor Cody. Set himself to deliver across him. Richarlison's header, it's wide. The offside flag had gone up anyway, it wouldn't have counted. Dele Alli falls. Richarlison through the middle, flag stayed down. It's Richarlison into the penalty area. Jose Sarr, what a challenge, and eventually the offside flag goes up. But Jose Sarr is having one of those days again. Trying to thread it through to Richarlison, who took it early into the side netting. forwards by Jose Sarr, flick on by Dendoncker, Jimenez. Oh, now John Joe Kenny's in big trouble, you know. He's already been yellow carded, and Michael Oliver is reaching to his pocket. It's a second yellow, and John Joe Kenny is sent off. So what a result it was for Wolves on Sunday. There were 3 changes from the side that started at Goodison. Willie Bolly returns into the defence in place of Maximilian Kilman. Rayne Nori will start at left wing back with Marçal dropping to the bench. Hee-Chan Wang went off injured early on at Goodison. His place taken by Daniel Penance up top. But it means Wolves will continue with the extra player in midfield. And Tomo, are you surprised at that, given that, you know, the last time we were here at Molineux, we scored 4 goals? Did you expect him to go back with the additional forward player?
No, well, after the weekend, so look, we saw what it meant to sell up Dendoncker, especially again in that second half. I thought he was more advanced, caused big problems. We're pushing up there as well. And also as well, he gives that extra play again into the box from deep, which is even harder to mark sometimes. So it's Dendoncker played really well at the weekend. So look, as I said, I think that second half for Wolves totally dominated, totally outplayed Everton. The only thing that was missing was more goals, but there's opportunities there. But you can see from the manager, he probably thinks that that's going to be more effective today for the game, because I think that's something that he does look at, that he looks at each game as it comes, and then he changes the team around. He's made some selection changes as well with certain players coming in. So you can see that the manager's always thinking about how he can win games and the players that are in there as well, and the formation.
And Rayne Nori, Claire, in left wing back for Marçal. That feels like just a more attacking home change, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the fact that we're going with those 3 midfielders, you want to have a bit of an outlet out on the left side as well. So it gives you that nice balance. And I think the fact that obviously the manager's just come in for Leeds, we still can't, you know, they might be making quite a lot of formation changes. They're still early days. They beat Norwich, obviously, but Bruno Lage hasn't got a lot to go at in terms of looking at how they've played over a series of games, because, you know, it's a new manager who might be making changes every game. So I think it's right to keep that solidity in the midfield and go from there. But we've got attacking options, and, you know, we've got plenty of attacking options off the bench with Wang and Fabio. Who else is on the bench? Trincao as well. So, yeah, we've got loads to go at there.
Yeah, there's plenty of players in and around it. Hopefully it will be a successful night. It's one of those situations whereby we want to see Wolves really kind of go for this now, because we're caught in this little position whereby there's a big gap between 8th, where Wolves are, and 9th. So reality is that with the way Wolves are going, not necessarily going to drop down the table. Can they still get themselves back in amongst the shake-up, and how do we approach the final stretch of the season? We'll talk about that in just one moment. We'll also check in with what's going on with the under-23s tonight, who are up against Aston Villa, after we've heard from Gemma Frith putting this game into context.
We are back at Molineux for another game under the lights this evening, Wolves v Leeds, and we've got a really special night lined up. There's going to be a DJ, there's going to be a light show, it's going to be a really electric atmosphere, and the perfect Friday night build-up to our game at 8 p.m. this evening. Now, we're coming into today off the back of 2 consecutive wins, and a third here tonight will take us up to 6th in the Premier League table. Our opponents, however, are on the opposite end of that scale. They're down in 16th in the table with only 1 win in their last 9 matches. That one victory did come at home last time out against Norwich, but they'll be looking for another win here tonight under their new manager, Jesse Marsh. Now, we're unbeaten in our last 6 meetings with Leeds in all competitions. All of those were wins, apart from our draw last time out in October in the reverse fixture away at Ellen Road. That could have been all 3 points for us, but Rodrigo's penalty in the 90th minute meant we walked away with just 1, so it was a difficult evening for Wolves fans. But tonight, hopefully, it will be a different story. This is going to be our last match before we go into the international break next week. So let's hope that this evening we can go out with a bang.
Gemma Frith putting this game into context for us here at Molineux tonight. There is another game going on right now with Old Gold interest. The under-23 is trying to cap off a remarkable week. 2 derbies in 5 days. They are playing at Agba right now. It looks relatively dark there at Agba. I can tell you it probably is slightly lighter. It just looks a bit strange. But Wolves are winning that game against Aston Villa by 3-0. There's been another goal for Chem Campbell in that game, another impressive one which takes him to double figures for the campaign. They put 4 past West Brom on Monday night at the New Bucks Head in Telford. So what a week for James Collins' team. We'll keep watching this for a second as we discuss a little bit about the under-23s. Claire, you've been at some of the games with me. You watch them regularly. There are players like Chem Campbell who will be looking at what Wolves are going to do now for the remainder of the campaign and suggest, well, if we aren't truly in a European race, are they going to get a chance to try and impress Bruno for the final few games? And when do you kind of look to put someone like Chem involved more in the matchday squad here?
Yeah, I mean, you do look at our bench, and obviously there's Huang, but you wonder if another kind of attacking striker, that's especially in the form that Campbell's in as well, would get a chance. And maybe it's the chance for him to get on the bench. There's going to be still injuries to come. We've got 5 games in April, so there's definitely a chance for a little bit of rotation, I would say. But there's some brilliant players within that setup. I think Harvey Griffiths that came in from Man City is superb. He's got a real great stature. But it's also nice to see some of the players step down, like Toti Gomez, that seemingly has a brilliant attitude to dropping down, getting his minutes in, and making sure that he's ready for the team when he's called upon. So I think there's so many promising players in there. Christian Marquez as well, another player that's really impressed me when I've been watching. So I think there's just some superb talent that we've got within the squad, and the fact that Luke Kundle's broken through this season kind of shows you that the pathway is there, and I think the players can see that, and I think it gives them a lot of optimism to really push on and really show the manager what they can do.
Yeah, how important is that, Tomo, to have that pathway? I mean, the man you can see with number 2 on his back there, Harry Birtwistle, big part of the under-18s this season, the run to the semi-finals of the FA Youth Cup. He's got the third goal in this game tonight. He's still, I think, 17, 18, making his way in the game. For him and for some of those other players, they need to see that there is a potential, if they keep doing what they're doing, to get there, don't they?
Yeah, of course. Look, they want some incentive, and they've already seen it with Kundle coming in to the first team squad. It shows you when you train hard, work hard, put in performances, don't matter what level you're doing it at, because they're always going to be watching you. And it's making sure that if you do get called upon and you do get an opportunity, that you've got to take it. And it's all about development. It's all about making sure that you see improvement from your young players. And as you can see there, so they're doing very well this year. They're doing well in the Derby games, what they've done recently with that West Brom win as well. But look, it's all about make sure that they're developing, make sure they're getting experience and playing these kind of games. And again, the competition, what they've got is good. It's challenging, and that's the thing that they want to do. They want to keep progressing, and the only way you're going to do it is by playing against the top teams, which Wolves definitely are.
I think that's Chem Campbell off on another charge again. He's having a really impressive run of form. I think I'm right in saying it's 5 goals for him now in his last 4 appearances. The question becomes, though, doesn't it, Tomo, whereby, if not now, when? When does he get that opportunity? Because, in fairness, he's playing week in, week out and doing well. The likes of Francisco Trincao maybe kind of struggling at the minute because they're not getting a lot of game time. So do you look at Campbell, or do you kind of go, well, Trincao's the established player, we stay with him?
No. So at the end of the day, my opinion, I think you play players that are in form. I think that you put people on merit with the way that they play. If they're playing well, they deserve a chance, then why not? Say Kundle must have done really well in the games that he's done to get that opportunity to play. And that's what it's all about. It's making sure that you're prepared, making sure that you do the right things. And these players, again, are learning, got the attitude to make sure they want to get to that high level of what you want the Wolves to be. But it's all about improvement. It's all about making sure that you push yourself out. Because, look, if they're not going to have a career at Wolves for whatever reason, you want to go on somewhere else. And it's all about making sure that when you do perform, you do it right, and you do what's right for you and in the right manner as well. And that's what it's all about as a young player. If you can't get a career where you are, because look, I moved here when I was 19. I moved to Wolves.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate that I did have first team appearances at an early age. But again, it's all about taking your chances. It's all about getting the opportunities. And so I was fortunate that I got those opportunities when I was young. And to say again, it's all about the development. It's all about gaining that experience.
Well, we'll come away from the action at Agbrew. If anything else happens, we will let you know here on Matchday Live Extra. You can see the best of the goals and the best of the action so far tonight on the Wolves Academy social media channels. Head there in a couple of minutes' time if you want to check that out. It is fascinating, and as I say, hopefully we will see some more of those boys get an opportunity in the first team as the season progresses, but then maybe we'll still be in a European race right to the end. Who knows? Let's check in and just kind of have a little look back on the match between these two teams here last season, which also was a Friday night, but had a very different feel to it. Hailing on the right-hand side, a little bit of a loose pass. It's gone straight to Neto, actually, and Neto turning 25 yards from goal, back onto his left foot, trying to curl one. Oh, it was a brilliant effort, and it drew an equally superb save. Tries to lift it through for the run of Click, and no one really went with him. And it was whipped to the near post, and somehow it's kept out and fired goalwards. And Patricio with a save again, and Strout trying to fire it goalwards, and Saiz desperate to try and get the ball away. And Wolves have done just about that. Dendoncker with a foot in. Semedo to Dendoncker in an early pass to set Neto away, and it's 3-on-3. It's Neto driving up to the edge of the penalty area. Now to Semedo. It's Semedo who hits it straight at Meslier, and it's behind for a corner. Here's Rafinha trying to whip the ball in. It's a dangerous delivery. Good save by Patricio, follow up by Bamford. Wolves somehow getting a block in there, and Willian Jose trying to clear to the edge of the penalty area. Danger not fully over. Traore couldn't hold on to it. Traore on the turn. For the first time, he's got him behind Ayling. Now cutting back in field. Support arriving. He goes for goal. Oh, it's going to go in. Oh, my word, Adama Traore. There is a massive stroke of luck, and it may well go down as an own goal off the goalkeeper. Traore's strike rattled back off the woodwork, hit the back of Meslier, and rebounded into the net. Trying to look back in field and being forced further back, and then a loose pass by Pedro Neto, and Leeds will try and hit on the counter here. Roberts through to Bamford. Flag has stayed down. Patrick Bamford in behind, striking it into the back of the net. And now the offside flag goes up, and the goal will not count. Fabio Silva might benefit from a long ball forwards and a bit of a mistake, and he strikes it goalwards. It's just behind. Took a deflection. 2 minutes of the 5 still to play as Rafinha just launches a long one up towards the edge of the box. Helder Costa bringing it down, and a brilliant save by the feet of Rui Patricio. So a win over Leeds here last season, back when crowds still weren't allowed. We've had a really good run against Leeds, unbeaten in the last 6 meetings. It's gone fairly well, but this Leeds team, Claire, I imagine potentially a little bit different. We haven't really seen too much of them under Jesse Marsch replacing Marcelo Bielsa. So we kind of just presume they're going to go similar to as they have been, but we just don't know really how this one will go tonight.
No, I think that's the difficulty, and I think that's probably why we have packed the midfield again, like keep that security in there, and let's see how the game develops. And we've got plenty of forward players on the bench that can come on to change the game. I think Leeds are always a very physical side, aren't they? And I think there's no telling. Obviously, Bielsa had them playing pretty open football, which I think would work in our favour, to be honest. But I think today is a different game, really. I think when you have a new manager come in, obviously players are trying to impress throughout, and I know that Harrison didn't play the last game. He started on the bench, and obviously Bamford just come back from injury, so he'll want to prove a point as well. So I think they'll be a tough team, to be honest. I think they've got some brilliant forward players, and they've got some goals within them with Rodrigo as well. So I think tonight will be tough, and I think the fact that Willy Bolly's come back in, I think this is possibly why he has come back in, because I think it's a bit more of a challenge tonight, because Watford really, there wasn't really a great deal for him to do defensively, because the game all went our way, and he played brilliantly. I thought he looked really comfortable, but he wasn't challenged massively actually in the game. So tonight will be a completely different game, I think, against Leeds. So we'll see what the game brings.
Well, this match we're watching here, Tomo, is such a strange game, wasn't it? That free kick from João Moutinho was around about the hour mark. It was a massive turning point. The fans started to make a huge amount of noise. Their team started to respond, and as we'll see, they kept going and going, and it's debatable at the end. But I'm still not convinced that is enough for a penalty that got Leeds back and got themselves a share of the points. But it was fascinating, wasn't it, the way Wolves just kind of disappeared in the last 20 of this game.
They did. So, like you said, the noise of the Leeds fans definitely got them up, and so and it was something that we were watching and listening to, and all of a sudden Wolves just invited more pressure onto them. Look, I still look at that, and I still can't see where the penalty come from, apart from the referee listening to the crowd. And look, so those are the things what happens. So when you give away possession and let the other teams come onto you.
They're funny, aren't they? Those kind of moments when you look back at them at the end of the season. What importance that drop 2 points could have at any one stage. But like I say, it feels, Tomo, like the way Wolves are playing at the minute, they should go and take this to Leeds and go and put real pressure on them, because in the same way the last 2 matches that we played, we know Leeds are under huge pressure and need the points way more than we do.
Yeah, so you look at the 2 games that we played, the Watford and Everton game, and there was a lot of pressure on, more so to Everton. I know Watford were as well, but more Everton, I think. But yeah, it's about taking the game and make sure you got your game plan right and make sure that you sort it out against these kinds of teams. Look, we played the West Ham, we played the Arsenal games. Unfortunately, we didn't get the results that we wanted to. We didn't play particularly well, and even in the Leicester game, we didn't really play particularly well. But when it's come after that, I think players were really hurt against the Arsenal game, and I think that they did feel something about it as well. And I think that they've bounced back brilliantly, the way that they've come back, with the way that the performance against Watford, straight from the off. Because again, you thought Watford were going to come out and fight and cause big problems, but Wolves nullified that straight from the off. Had 3 goals in 21 minutes, which helps you as a team. But I just think that the way Wolves dominated, especially the second half against Everton and the game against Watford, is a credit to them. And that's what it is. It's about hurting your pride a little bit when you're playing. And I just think that those 2 Arsenal games, the West Ham game, I think has hurt their pride a little bit, because until then, never conceded that many goals, kept clean sheets, was winning games. And it does go against you, because if you look at the turn of the year, we've been magnificent in the games that we played.
Leeds have the worst defensive record in the Premier League this season, Claire. Does that play a part when you're in a dressing room, those kind of stats, or do you just kind of look at it and go, this is the 90 minutes, we're not fussed about what's been before?
I think it's a lot like how Bielsa used to play, isn't it? Defensively, they were not fantastic, but actually they had goals in them. They were attacking, they look open, they look like they're threatening when they attack. So I think that's what will be in the team talk for sure, is that they have that threat within them, I think. But the key point for me is that the Palace game really was a bit of an eye-opener in the fact that Palace took that game to us from the off. They got the crowd were very quiet here. Palace fans were really noisy, and the game just went away from us for the whole period, and we never ever got back into that game. And I think it's just so important when you're at home. You've got to take the game to teams, and we've got to back ourselves. We've got some fantastic players, and the last 2 games should give them confidence to really push on today. And the fact that we've got the 3 boys in the centre of midfield gives us that strength, so that we're not going to be so susceptible for attacks on the break, because they will be threatening going forward in the final third. And Aït-Nouri will be a great outlet for us, but obviously he'll probably be against Daniel James, and that'll be an equal challenge for him as well. So there'll be some interesting key battles on this pitch tonight. I think our boys need to focus in firstly on getting another clean sheet, getting back on track. At Molineux particularly, especially after that Palace game, and show that we are ready to go for this, because we've got 8 games remaining. We play all of the top 3, but all the games aside from that are teams that are below us, and many of them are struggling. So we've got to show that we can beat the teams that are struggling, and really, get ourselves set up and get people ready with minutes in their legs for the big games as well.
Less than quarter of an hour to go till kick-off here at Molineux tonight. The DJ is beginning to sound a little bit more like a wedding DJ, and we're in danger of Tomo getting up and busting out some dad dancing or granddad dancing.
I thought that was you, mate. I thought that you were going to do it.
No, you know
dad
that.
Dancing.
You know I'm a tremendous dancer. You know this only too well.
We've got to get a video of you spinning on your back, mate.
Don't call me Snake Hips Burrows for nothing, my friend. Let's hear from Bruno, who's been talking ahead of this game.
When you look at your analysis of Leeds, clearly under Bielsa, they had a very distinctive style. How much has that perhaps changed, if at all, under the new manager?
No, change some things. We can see now they are more. How do you say? They have when they are there to especially to press. They wait a little bit. They are more patient, So they wait for the opponent to put the ball in some places, and then they start to run. They start to press. I think they are a little bit more patient, but they come with that. At the end, they have to run a lot, to press high, to try to win the duels, to when they are defending situations in 1 against 1, and offensive. Look, I think they are in the same style. Some players change a little bit the position, but every time good dynamic. They want to have the ball solid on the back four, to midfielders every time near the ball to build up the game. And 4 amazing strikers. I know some of them. Benford worked with Carlos in the Middlesbrough. Rafinha played against me when he was in Sporting. Dean, the kid was my player in Swansea. They bite for Manchester United. Now I forget his name.
James.
James, it was my player in Swansea. So fast, very good in 1 against 1s, very good in attack, the space in behind. So a strong opponent to play against.
Bruno Lage speaking ahead of this game. Prediction time. Claire, you can go first because we know Tomo's going to say 2-1, so we'll just let him have a moment to think about who the goal scorers are going to be. What's your prediction for tonight?
I'm going to go with 2-0. I think I'm hopeful that we can keep a clean sheet. I think we're looking solid at the back, and hopefully we take the game to them and go and get us a couple of goals. I mean, I'd love to say it'd be more, but I'm going to stick with the 2. I think, given how many goals that we do generally score. But let's go 2-0 today.
Who are you backing to get those goals?
I don't know. Podence is on form, isn't he? I think he's a player of the month and he's looking superb. But it would, I'm still, every time I watch when Jimenez is playing, I'm just really hopeful he gets that heady goal out of the way. I would love to see that, and every week I'm looking for that. So a Jimenez and Podence goal would be fantastic.
Andrew?
I'm going to go 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1 Wolves. I'm going to go Bolle, Jimenez, and then Donker.
I love that. So Chris Iwelumo predicted Conor Cody would score on Sunday. I predicted, pretty much got everything bang on against Watford. I don't know why Tomo's shaking his head. It's there on record. I was absolutely bang on.
You said there'd be goals. You never even mentioned how many.
I did say Raul Jimenez would get the first goal, and he got the first goal. I don't know what more. I don't know what more evidence you need.
First time in months.
I don't know what more evidence you need. But I was absolutely spot on with the prediction. I think it's going to be close tonight because I think Leeds, they have to push for it. So I would take 1-0, and let's go with Ruben Neves again because let's face it, he's in unbelievable form. He's doing absolutely brilliantly. Though, on the other hand, there could be plenty of goals. There has been between these two teams in the past. We'll, of course, be waiting for you on wolves.co.uk and on Wolves app, for you to listen to full match commentary with Andy Thompson, Claire Hageman and myself. But we will leave you with the goals from a remarkable match between these two from what seems like a lot longer ago than it was. We've been dipping into the archive again. We'll see you in a couple of minutes' time at wolves.co.uk.
Intercepted by Price, who plays into Henry inside the centre circle. Helps it on early to Iorfa, infield to Afobe. Iorfa's continued his run, Afobe running out to the right-hand side, now turning, driving into the penalty area. Afobe pulls it across, Saka arriving! It's Dicko who gets there! Nua Dicko turns it home, and Wolves are back level. 18 minutes gone in the game. Wonderful work from Benik Afobe, across it came, and Nua Dicko from a tight angle squeezes it home, and Wolves are back on level terms. It's Wolves 1, Leeds 1.
Wolves, number 14, Nua Dicko.
Really tight angle for Nua Dicko. 4 minutes is being added on at the end of the first half. Here's a ball over the top. Flag stays down. It's Nuadiko into the box. Strikes it. Yes, it's Nuadiko. His second of the game to give Wolves the advantage right at the end of the first half. Nuadiko celebrates in the corner, and everybody around Molineux goes absolutely potty, because it could be the goal that takes Wolves into the top 6. Released with a brilliant ball chipped over, and Dicko took it early and struck it through. He struck it true. It's Wolves 2, Leeds 1. Super finish to beat the goalkeeper, lowered his near post. From a keeper's point of view, Aaron McCary, he'll be fuming at himself, but we don't care one bit. Pull the Leeds defender back into it. Here's Henry with a free kick 10 yards from the corner flag. Whipped in deep, the goalkeeper just palms it away. Stearman will chase it to the right hand corner flag to keep it in. McDonald in support. Stearman running round for him. It's pulled back to Jack Price instead. Price standing his cross up to the far post. One in the air by Byram. Down to Sacco though. Pulls it back to Danny Bond. Oh, it hits his own man, and Bove is bundled in. Wolves have got themselves a third. Medical Bove in the right place at the right time, and Wolves are on their way to a place in the top 6. Danny Bart's shot deflected up, may well have been blocked by his own man, but Benica Bove there to turn the ball home, and it's Wolves 3, Leeds 1. Sacco's pull back, Bart's shot, Dicko, are we going to claim that as an assist?
Of course he is, Mikey. I don't know what the Leeds goalkeeper's going. He's gone absolutely berserk here, so he has. He's calling for offside, but his own defender standing behind Nuadiko in this phase of play. So Bamba's on the goal line, so I'm not sure what he's going mad about. But that man Benica Bove there, they took it away.
Jack Price is going to shoot from distance. It's blocked. Price gets a second chance, then finds McDonald. McDonald leaves it for Van La Parra. Van La Parra on the left-hand side, just outside the box. Couple of step overs again. Tries to lose cross. It was blocked off by Mauer. Still Van La Parra has it by the corner flag. Van La Parra pulls it back to McDonald. McDonald to deliver his cross in. Edwards header! Yeah! It's Dave Edwards! Dave Edwards has won it for Wolves! Surely, with 2 minutes to go, and Molineux is rocking again, and that could be huge! It could be massive in Wolves' chase to the playoff positions! They were 3-1 up, they threw it away, it was 3-3, and Dave Edwards from the bench could well have made himself the hero. It's Wolves 4, Leeds 3. You gotta hang on now, boys.
Tremendous ball in by Kevin McDonald, Mikey, and Dave Edwards with a superb header into the top corner. Superb finish from Dave Edwards.